What's up, everybody? Chris Lee, Everyday Finance 101 here for you, Masters in Finance, CPA, personal finance enthusiast, coming at you with a longer form video today than my YouTube shorts and TikToks. And this one, what I wanted to do is talk about emergency funds, why you need one, how much it should be, how you know the range of what it should be. That's what I want to talk about today. So before we kind of get into the actual nitty-gritty numbers here, what you should have emergency fund wise depends on your job, depends on how old you are. So there's a lot of different factors to that. So my first kind of thought process is if you are under the age of 18, then you probably only need like $1,000. And so your parents probably cover most things, or if you live with aunt, uncle, grandparents, I know everyone's situation is different, but $1,000 probably should be fine if you are 18 or under. The next window I kind of go with is like 18 to 22. And so if you're in that window, maybe you're doing trade school, college, or you just got out of high school and you're starting to work, I kind of like $2,000 to $3,000 there. The reasoning for that is that you can cover more of like if a phone breaks, you have tires on your car go out, pads, brake pads, whatever that might be. And so a little bit more for that 18 to 22 window is kind of like what we are looking for when we are in that age range. Beyond that, that is when we should be building to our fully funded emergency fund. Okay. And so in my eyes, from most general research, 3 to 6 months of your expenses is kind of what you want that emergency fund to be. If it's 3 months versus 6 months, we can have a difference there. The difference is based off of how easy your job is to replace. So if you have a really easy job to replace, then you can do 3 months. If it's harder to replace, 6 months. Same kind of concept. If you have one, if like you're a family household and you have one person only working, you probably need 6 months because that's a big loss of income. If you have two people in the house working, you might be able to get away with 3 months because then if one person loses their job, the other one still has at least some income. General overall thoughts on emergency fund right there. Now I want to get a little bit into the nitty gritty of what our emergency fund is, and then also some places that we should actually look to put that emergency fund into. Okay, so let's get going here. I'm going to move on that. This is our 1 to 6 month emergency fund as of today. I update it not every day, but maybe once every couple months or something like that. And so these are some of the things that we have. In the 1 month column, I have our mortgage, property taxes, and our house insurance, okay? And then I have our food, that's groceries and eating out. It's just my wife and I, so $800 a month is what we spend. Healthcare, I have zero there. The reason I kind of have it over here is that we have an HSA, so we have enough money in there that if we had to pay our full deductible or out-of-pocket max, we would be covered. So I kind of have zero for healthcare in there. Then we have utilities. So in our state, consumer, electric, water, and I have our averages in there from what I've done on the budget, what I know from previous just recording my spending. Car insurance is in there, car gas for both my wife and I. Our car payment, we only have one loan, but the car payment on that. I have oil changes in here, and we do them every couple months. So you can see I kind of like progressively get a little bit higher with that oil change. Haircuts, similar. I usually get my haircut once every a month-ish. And then Tess has one that like kind of hits at the 3 month mark. And so I add it in there. Phone bill I have in here, cable and internet. Our puppy, so he's a big category. Cosmetics for both of us, our HOA fee, which hits once a quarter. Household items, this is your toilet paper, paper towel, lights, if like a light bulb goes out, stuff like that. Waste management is trash pickup. Both of our union dues. Our dog has insurance. Again, love him, our only kid right now. Clothes, I have miscellaneous in here. That's like our entertainment fun stuff. Gifts, and then home decor. So with all that stuff, our 1 month right here, emergency fund, would be right at about $6,350. I'll go ahead and highlight that green for you. Okay. Our 2 month, $12,700. Just kind of slowly highlight them as we go. 3 month, $19,600. I'm going to pause right there. We only have a 3 month emergency fund, quote unquote, because we are both teachers, my wife and I, and so our jobs are pretty stable. And if one of us loses our jobs, then the other one would still be working because we're a 2-income household. Dinks, dual income, no kids right now, except the dog, I guess, if you could count that. So we have our emergency fund above that $19,642 mark. That's kind of what we play with for us, okay? If we were to continue, 4 months is about $25,790. So you can see 4 months up here. $25,790. I want to highlight that for you. 5 months would be $32,000, and 6 months brings us to $39,000. Now there is a couple of different trains of thought here. I'm going to kind of make my screen a little bit bigger. Now the couple of trains of thoughts, and I'll put the E fund at the bottom there so you can still see it. I have other items in there that are not strictly emergencies, so like still spending money on clothes, entertainment, stuff like that. I used to do this bare bones, but then Tess and I can save a lot of money. And so I just said, hey, like, let's just include everything if we lose our jobs to live our normal life and see what that is. Obviously, if you lose jobs, you might cut back. But I just wanted to prepare for, hey, let's keep lifestyle the same or similar. And so that is kind of why I have some of those other clothes areas in there, or still like being able to eat out with our food budget, things like that. Again, this is how I do our emergency fund. You can do yours how you want to, but I think everyone needs an emergency fund because if something happens, you need to have cash sitting there for you ready to use, okay? Which leads me into the next part of the conversation, kind of the final part here, wrapping up with an emergency fund. You don't want to keep your emergency fund in a traditional brick and mortar bank account, okay? And we're gonna go through some reasons why here, and hopefully the internet can kind of be with me on this. So you need to have your emergency fund in some type of bank account that earns more than a traditional brick and mortar bank. Right here is the reason why. I'm going to kind of highlight this little text box area. So if you just do a quick Google, okay, traditional banks only pay 0.41% APY, annual percentage yield. It's really not even true. It just says that in the next sentence here. 0.01% is what most big banks pay. We have a Huntington bank account for my savings and checking, and it pays nothing, okay? So we don't want, when I go back to the emergency fund, 20 grand, 15 grand, 10 grand, even $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. You don't want that earning you nothing, because that is not how your money is going to make you money, okay? And so high yield savings accounts or money market accounts are where you're going to want your money overall. And so sometimes those fluctuate depending on the Fed and what interest rate levels they set. Right now, most high yields, I would say, are under 4%, because we're going to look at 2 of them right now. But you want to have, so first of all, you want an emergency fund, right? We want cash that is sitting there in case something happens. And then we want to put it in a vehicle that is earning interest while being safe, okay? And so we're going to look at a few right now. So I'm going to navigate here over to the next tab. And the first one that comes to mind that I have an account for, but I don't put money in anymore, which I'll explain in a second, Ally. It is an online bank where you can have savings accounts that earn 3.6%, okay? And so that is more than the traditional bank of 0.01% by like 3,600 times, by a lot, okay? And so the reason that you might want to open one of these is because you can have your money earn interest for you in a safe FDIC insured bank account, okay? And this is literally just like you have $1, I have $1, and I know what to do with my dollar and put it in a high yield savings account, and you put it in a normal bank account that's not high yield, and we will earn different rates of interest based on that. That's the world of finance, unfortunately. And so Ally is one suggestion that I have right here. Another suggestion, this is where I put my money, is Fidelity. So Fidelity is a online brokerage account, and sorry about the camera being off. For some reason, my camera won't work on the Fidelity side. But anyway, Fidelity is an online brokerage account where you can invest money, but you can also put funds in a money market account up here. And so the money market account is similar to a high yield savings account, but it's for a brokerage account and earns interest, for mine at least, for Fidelity, is monthly, similar to what an Ally account does. And so the 7-day yield is kind of important here. So Fidelity earns about 3.94% interest every 7 days. Now, there is an expense ratio down here of 0.42. So on average, it's about 3.5%, which is a little bit lower than Ally overall. When we went back to Ally, I think it was like 3.7%. But the reason that I like Fidelity is all of my money for my Roth and for our like extra brokerage accounts are at Fidelity. And so I just like having my emergency fund there. But I just wanted to give you guys some options on where you could put different money to earn higher interest than a traditional bank account. So I'm going to kind of close out here, get back to this screen, and we will get on our way. So final thoughts. You need an emergency fund, okay? It should be at least 3 to 6 months if you are in your working career. And if you are younger than that, 18 to 22, maybe it can be a couple grand, 2 to 3, under 18, $1,000, okay? You need something in case stuff happens. You want to make sure to take advantage of where your money is going. You don't want it to be sitting in a traditional brick and mortar bank account that earns no interest. Some of them do earn interest, but right now the market's paying about 3.5 to 3.75% interest per year. And so you want to have some kind of vehicle for your big emergency fund that is earning that interest. And for us, we used to use Ally, and now we use Fidelity, that SPAC's money market account. That's kind of what we use, okay? Just wanted to give you some info on emergency fund overall. I hope it's helpful to see what mine is, to also see where we put it. Excited to keep doing content like this. Hopefully Everyday Finance is helping you out. Chris Lee here. Let me know if there's any other types of videos that you want to watch, or if you find these helpful, or if not, then I'll change it up or not do them. Just let me know. But other than that, hope you guys have a good day. Hopefully you're enjoying the YouTube shorts or the TikToks as well. And we'll see you on the next one.